You're listening to Dene Michael here on True Radio, the home of proper good music, and on Sundays, proper good interviews as well. And tonight, we're very, very lucky to have Mr. Paul Fenton, the original drummer from T-Rex. Hi, Paul, you still there?
I'm still here.
You enjoying this music I'm playing?
I can't hear any of the music, unfortunately, otherwise I would have said yes.
Well, we're known for proper good music, you know, we're known for it. Now, Paul, tell us about how you was with Christy, weren't you, to start with, before you joined T-Rex?
Well, yeah, I started working with Jeff in Jeff Christie's dad's nightclub. He may have had partners, but I was in his nightclub in Leeds, and I was there for a while, and maybe that was a couple of years, and I think he started doing some recording because he got tied up with the tremolos and started doing some recording, or it interested the tremolos. He thought the tremolos were going to do Yellow River, and they did some work on it, and I think he was told, you know, that one of the young brothers of the tremolos, you know, they wanted him to start doing some work. Michael Blakely, and so it was Blakely, I forget his first name, that was in the tremolos, and he hadn't worked out too well, and because I'd worked at the nightclub, the Lido Review Bar on Union Street, right. Jeff asked me if I would be interested in joining, and I had a business going with my father, you know, near where I lived in Dewsbury, and I had to leave my mum and dad with a business while I went, you know, trotting around the world with Jeff Christie, basically, and did a lot of album work. And so honestly, if I'd have had £1 a mile, you know, I would have been a very wealthy man.
Yeah, I know, it's the same with me. We travel all over the world, don't we? And people think it's so easy, don't they, Paul, when you're traveling around? Yeah, they think you've got an easy job.
That's the plane I've always found being relatively easy. It's getting there and getting back to the hotel that's hard.
Yeah. Waiting for the tour bus and everything.
Especially when your driver's blind and dyslexic, it's so hard, I tell
you. So you actually played on the T-Rex with Mark Bolan. You played on the records on a couple of those with T-Rex. How did that come about then, Paul?
Well, what it was is that you've missed the middle band out. What I asked you to mention, which was right. Carmen.
Yeah.
I was living in London at the time, and I used to go up to the high street near where we lived. There was a Yugoslavian guy called Zelko La. And he made blues on jackets and all kinds of stuff. So I went in there to get, and I used to get a jacket or get something snakeskin before I did TV work, because it was happening all the time. We were being invited on, and I wanted to get some boots. Anyway, I went up. He said, while he was after he'd done measuring me, he said, go upstairs and come back down, because there were 2 floors in Kensington Market. And I went upstairs to collect my boots while he was dealing with customers. There was people from America ordering stuff, all kinds of stuff going on. He was always busy, obviously being a tailor. And Freddie Mercury was working for a guy called Alan Mayer. Jeff Christie may have told you. And Freddie Mercury used to put boots on my feet just as he was starting with his band. So Carmen had actually been on the road 12 months before Freddie Mercury took his band on the road, because I think they were rehearsing at Nomis, which was a professional rehearsal studio in London. And he said some of our guys were in there, you know, moving gear about or helping other people when they were employed by us. Yeah. And they were saying, Freddie is listening to your music. That's why it was poignant that we mentioned Carmen. And you know, and through my connections, I got to know Tony Visconti, who wanted to produce he did 2 records with us, and with Carmen, and we did a very well received Dancing on a Cold Wind and Fandangos in Space were the 2 first albums I did with Tony. And he said Mark wanted a drummer to work in the studio with him that could, that was somebody who was playing all the time, and I was pretty busy.
Yeah.
So I put time aside to. I met Mark first socially, and we went down the Speakeasy, and okay, it was very nice. He was a nice guy to be around, for me anyway. A lot of people have got other things to say about him, but it was always pretty fair with me. And then within the same week, must have been about Wednesday midweek, and before the weekend, we started recording together.
Right.
Zinc
So you would have played
Zinc
on Hot Love and Get It On.
Well, I think that was. I'm not sure. I've done that a million times, played those tracks, but I'm not sure whether it was part. You'd have to look at my name and the tracks that were dedicated. That had my name at the side of them on zinc alloy.
Right,
and
right.
Dandy and the Underworld, but I did play some of the earlier ones, and I remember doing Deborah and watching, work. I was with Mark for quite a while recording, and even though I think what he had done, he'd had some idea. He recorded something on a tape. He'd done a home, and then we played the tape. And I said if he could do a guide vocal or something along with the tempo, I could drum to it. I just needed something to work to. And even though I did play with a click track on several tracks that had no vocals on, that he wanted to take away and put songs to, that was the relationship. But I got used to that, which was great. And I stayed at Mark's house, and him and it was just before the time. I don't know the exact time scale. It's probably summer of 72, 73, and it was before. It was still. It was just about ready to leave June Child, and get involved with Gloria Jones. So I saw June Child a couple of times, and then Mark started going out with Gloria Jones. That was the time that we were working together.
Fantastic, absolutely wonderful memories. Well, what we'll do, Paul, we'll play a few more songs here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what's in the future for you. So, Paul, thanks very much for being with us here on True Radio.
That's brilliant, and I'm sure True Radio. I will switch it onto my system and enjoy it until you get back to me.
Thanks very much for being with us.